रेहान सेड कि वो अभी उसको अगर टाइम मिला तो वो ज्वाइन करेगा एंड हार्दिक अभी सोया हुआ है तो मे बी विल नॉट ज्वाइन. Hello and good morning, everyone. We are extremely pleasure to host this event today. I am Neha Sharma. I am the Student Builder Group leader of AWS NMIET. We also have a lot of captains with us from around India. Today's session is Pay and Grow: How Cloud Makes Entrepreneurship Affordable. And we'll be talking about how cloud technologies, especially AWS, help student developers and startup builders without huge upfront cost. So, can we all spam celebration emoji in the text, please? All right. So before we start, I'd request everyone to stay active in the chats, drop your questions, and interact throughout the sessions. We'd love to make this engaging as possible. All right. So before we start, I shall introduce a few of our captain friends to all of you. So firstly, we have Monish Reddy. He is the student builder group leader of Mohan Babu University.
Hello all.
Then we have Prasad Limbikar with us. He is the student builder group leader of JSPM's BSIOTR, Pune.
Hello everyone, great to be here.
Then we have Vishesh Shingla. He is the student builder group leader of MIMT.
Hello, guys.
We have Gokul with us. He is the student builder group leader of Karpagam Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. We have Aditya Dubey with us. He is the student builder group leader of DY Patil International University, Pune. All right. So before we start, We have few things lined up with you. Um, so, firstly, there will be a link contest on LinkedIn. So, you guys are supposed to post any screenshot or anything related to this event. It will start today at 11:15, and the results will be declared tomorrow at 11:15 on our WhatsApp channel. So, please make sure to tag us. It is the LinkedIn post is the LinkedIn profile is AWS Student Builder Groups NMIET. Please tag us on your groups. The person who gets the highest interaction will be, yeah, everyone can participate. The person who gets highest interaction on their LinkedIn post will be provided with AWS goodies from our side, and the results will be posted tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. sharp. And besides that, we shall also be sending random codes in the chat on YouTube itself. So we will be sending 10 codes. Those are anything random. It can be AWS related or student life related or entrepreneurship related. You guys have to keep an eye on the chat box. The person who collects all those 10 codes shall again get goodies from our side. So are we all excited for today? Can we all spam fire emoji in the chat?
Hey, hi Neha, hi everyone. I'm audible. Okay, is anybody speaking? I'm not able to hear anyone. Neha?
You are audible, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, great. Please let me know if I can get started or are we waiting for something? Okay, Neha is joining in a minute. Let's wait for her.
Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes, Neha, good.
Yes, yes.
It is my great pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Rahul Shivalkar sir. Rahul sir is an AWS solution architect, both associate and professional certified, and holds Kubernetes CKA and CKAD certification, making him one of the most well-rounded cloud native practitioner you'll come across. He's a passionate DevOps engineer with over 9 years of experience, spanning across cloud infrastructure, infrastructure configuration DevOps engineer at EPAM system and is recognized as an AWS community builder. A dedication given to those who actively contribute to and grow the AWS ecosystem. Beyond this professional work, Rahul sir is a prolific technical writer, having authored 170 plus DevOps articles published across the internet, uh, helping thousands of developers and engineers level up their skin. Today, he'll be sharing his insights on Pay As You Grow, how cloud makes entrepreneurship affordable, a topic that's incredibly relevant for all of us here. So, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Rahul Shivalkar, sir.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you so much for your warm welcome and thank you for inviting me here. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible.
Yes, sir. Everything's fine.
So, shall we get started? Are we waiting for something?
Yeah, we can get started. We are all excited for it.
Thank you so much once again. I'll just share my screen quickly. Okay. Can you see my presentation screen? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'll just go into presentation mode. The slides will be shared to all of you later. Okay. Cool. Okay, so I won't take time in introducing myself again as Neha has already introduced, but just to let you know again, my name is Rahul Shivalkar and I work at EPAM as a lead DevOps engineer. I have around 10 years of experience. Today, the topic for this session is Pay As You Grow, how cloud makes entrepreneurship affordable. Okay, so we'll see how cloud helps you deploy your applications and make your startups affordable. Before getting into the topic, uh, may I know how many of you think building a startup needs lakhs of rupees? Quite of you might think, right? You might be thinking that, okay, if I have to start a startup, I might have to spend a lakh of rupees. But what if I gave you 0 rupees for servers today? Could you still launch a startup? The answer in 2026 is yes. You can launch your startup with 0 rupees for your servers. And we are going to see in this session how. But before we proceed with that, let's just understand a few basic terms that would be required for the one who is new to cloud. Okay. So first thing first, what is cloud? Before understanding what is cloud, let's just understand in back how the servers were created or how the applications were deployed. I believe most of you are from first year, second year, or from this generation where you might not have seen servers physically. A few of you might have seen it, but most of you, I'm sure, might not have seen. So in back those days, servers were physically in your premises. If I'm talking about offices, then we could see the servers in front of our eyes in the offices. We could see the firewalls, we could see the switches, gateways, right? Routers, but I'm sure most of you might not have seen apart from your house where you have Wi-Fi, right? So in traditional days or in the old ways, companies had to buy physical servers. They had to procure servers, put them in their offices, and make sure they're available, make sure their availability, electricity, cooling, whatnot, right? So companies had to pay fixed price for hardware in traditional infrastructure. So there was kind of high upfront cost in the traditional days. But in terms of cloud, that's not the way. You don't have to buy servers, you don't have to make sure their availability, you don't have to work on their availability and electricity and whatnot, right? In simple words, the cloud is somebody else's computer which you are using, and it doesn't matter, or it's not your headache to make sure it is available. It's somebody who provides you, right? So in simple words, it's somebody else's computer. In terms of cloud, AWS cloud specifically, as we are in the AWS event, in terms of AWS cloud, Amazon owns massive data centers. They're securely placed. Nobody knows, I mean, general public do not know where those servers are, where they are placed, how they are placed, but they are placed globally, across globally. Okay, so data centers are available globally, and it's AWS who takes care of electricity. It's AWS who takes care of cooling down those servers. You don't have to worry about anything else. You just use it. So in simple terms, cloud is somebody else's computer, and in terms of AWS, it's Amazon owns them and make sure they are secure and highly available. So you, as a developer, don't have to manage hardware. You just have to work onto your code, and that's all. That's your headache. The rest of the thing, you don't have to worry about anything. Okay. I hope that's clear. Now, since we are talking about AWS cloud, there are three different categories or the core categories that I would say you must know to deploy your application or to start your startup. There are hundreds of services. To be very frank, nobody uses, like, or a single person doesn't use all of the services. But if we categorize most of them, the core services, they fall under compute, storage, database. So there are three core building blocks of AWS services, I would say. Okay, in compute, there's this Amazon EC2. EC2 is nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud, where you just go create your account on AWS, click, 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 and the machine is available in front of you. You don't have to worry about hardware and whatnot. You just select from the templates, and you can create a machine of your choice, of your like OS of your choice and whatnot. So EC2 falls under compute. There's again another that is Lambda, which is called as serverless. Then for storage, you use Google Drives, right? G drives, where you upload your images, videos, and whatnot. In the same way, AWS provides S3, simple storage service, which helps you store your files. Files could be anything. You just name it and you can save it. Images, videos, MP3s, doc files, PPTs, and whatnot. It provides 99.99999% of durability. It means it makes sure that your data doesn't go anywhere and you don't lose it. The other, just a moment. So the next category I would say is database. So there are different types of database available. A few of them to name are DynamoDB and RDS. These are the services, okay, available on AWS, which helps you create databases and store your information, user information, and whatnot. And these three categories, or the services under these three categories, provide a blueprint to start your startup, deploy your application with 0 rupees. You don't have to spend a lot of lakhs of rupees. And I'll tell you how in the upcoming slides how you can spend 0 rupees and you don't have to spend lakhs of rupees for deploying your application or starting your startup, at least at MVP level. Okay. Moving to next slide. Now that I have talked about cloud, I've talked about services, like just basic services, just giving a glimpse of services. One question to you guys: would you rather buy a car permanently or use Uber or Ola, right? Only when needed. The answer most of you might give is yes, you won't buy a car unless you want it. That's a different story. But if you just have to travel sometimes or like you don't travel frequently, then you would prefer Uber or Ola or some other service, right? And the cloud is basically the same. It's kind of Uber for infrastructure. You don't create or you don't buy or you don't own infrastructure. You just use it when you require it. The way you book a ride whenever you want to travel from one place to another, you don't buy a car. You just book a trip and that's all. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's the same. The cloud is same basically. It's kind of Uber for infrastructure. I'll give a moment to the audience if they have a question. We can open a floor for them. If there are no questions, I can proceed ahead. Okay. I'll take it as a no, and again, I'll come back. I'll provide a moment for you to ask questions.
So once I get the question, I'll raise my hand and or I'll interrupt you and I'll ask the question from the audience. Does that work?
Yeah, please feel free to do that. We want to make this session interactive. It shouldn't
All
be
right.
kind of I'm just speaking and just listening. You can stop me at any point of time if you have even the simplest question.
Okay, sir, works.
Having said that, okay, so as I said earlier, you had to buy fixed like kind of hardware. You have to own it, buy it, keep it with you. So there was kind of fixed cost for your hardware. But with cloud, you don't have to pay upfront cost for the infrastructure. You just use it whenever required and pay for that. So that's kind of paradigm shift as cloud has come, and you just pay as you go or only pay for as much as you use. So that's kind of shift from the traditional infrastructure to cloud infrastructure, I would say. Now, in terms of AWS, there are 4 pillars for pricing. First is pay as you go. The second is save when you commit. Third is pay less by using more. And the fourth is flat rate. So there are multiple subcategories, but these are kind of 4 pillars, I would say. And we are going to see these 4 pillars in upcoming slides. Talking about first pillar. So it's pay as you go. How it works is, let's say you want to create infrastructure with EC2 machine, which is virtual machine, right? So you just create it, you deploy your application, your application ran for let's say 1 hour, and later you do not require to have that EC2 machine or virtual machine, then you're done. You just have to pay for 1 hour. You don't have to buy it for a year or 2 or 3 or pay for a month, but you just paid for 1 hour that you used it for, or maybe seconds. There are some services where you pay on seconds basis, not hourly basis as well. So EC2 is one of them where you create your virtual machines and pay for the amount of time that you have used it. And then there's Lambda, again a serverless, where you don't create machines, rather you just put your code, and whenever that code runs, when a request hits to it, you just have to pay for that particular time. For example, there's a Lambda or there's a code that you put into your Lambda, which is responsible for converting an image from one format to another. And for that, it just ran for maybe a few seconds, let's say 5 seconds. You just have to pay for 5 seconds. You don't have to pay for even hour for an hour or two, the way it would be for KCD. In short, for pay as you go, you just pay for how much you use, and that's all. You don't have to worry about anything else. This is suitable for unpredictable workload where you're not sure how long your application would run, how long the requests would come, and how long the infrastructure has to be alive. So whenever you are in your early phase of startups, whenever you are in early phase of your prototypes, you can use this particular pillar or this particular model that is pay as you go. So a question to you is, if your website gets 0 visitors tonight or at any point of time, should you still pay for it? Right? There are no visitors for your websites. Yes.
So we had two questions. One is, do you think pay-as-you-go pricing changed the future of startup and innovation, or it will change it in the future?
Pardon?
So the question was, do you think pay-as-you-go pricing will change the future of startup and innovation?
Yeah, for sure. That's what we're talking about, right? So for pay as you go, you don't have to pay for a long term kind of month or 15 days or a year. You just pay for what you use for. Let's say you got an idea of building an application, you developed it onto your machine. Now you're thinking of deploying it, right? But you're worried about, okay, I don't have to spend a lot. And that's just an idea that you have got. You're not sure your startup will work or not. You just deploy your application, test it there, and yeah, you just have to pay for how much you use. Definitely, pay as you go is a kind of pillar or model that will definitely help your startups grow, not only in future but currently as well.
Yes, sir. And the next question was, how does pay-as-you-go support scalability during sudden traffic spike in apps?
Okay, so you deployed your application, you started your startup, and suddenly it goes viral, right? At one point of time, there are thousands of requests, and you've used kind of auto scaling in your application. Okay, the application grows at that point of time, or that moment where the user requests were kind of lakhs or millions or thousands, whatnot, where it went viral, and later it goes down, right? So for only that particular point or that particular moment, the application will scale, and later it will cool down, and you just be paying for that particular moment or that particular time. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. And the last question for now was, can pay-as-you-grow reduce the startup risk?
Yes, definitely. So in traditional days, if I got an idea, I had to develop an application and deploy it, I would have to first buy servers, and nobody knows if my startup would work or not, my idea would grow or not. But still, I'll have to kind of buy those hardwares or those infrastructure. And one day, the startup doesn't work. What would I do with those servers? I would have to pay the cost, right? But that's not the way with cloud and pay as you grow model. If you think it is not working, you just discard the resources and you're done. You don't have to pay, or like you don't have to worry about buying the infrastructure and keep it with you unnecessarily.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Cool. I hope I could answer those questions and you got something from it. If not, we can connect later as well. For now, my question to you was, if your website goes or gets 0 visitors tonight, should you still pay? The answer is no, you don't have to pay. That's the power of serverless that I was talking about, Lambda. So you only pay when there are requests or your application is being used. Okay. Another pillar or pillar 2 is save when you commit. So it's kind of, you're sure you have done your prototypes, you're sure your startup is gonna work, your idea is gonna work, and you're you're you want to commit for long term, let's say 1 year, 3 year, right? In that case, save when you commit pillar comes in picture. You can commit for a period of 1 year or 3 year, and you can get a huge discount. Let's say if you created one EC2 instance and run it for 365 days, and you pay 1,000 USDs for it, but when you commit it upfront to AWS that I'm going to use this EC2 machine or my resources for 1 year or 3 year, then you're going to get savings, or like you can save up to 72%. So if you commit, instead of paying 1,000 USDs, you would be like, you would not be paying 1,000 USDs, but you'll get 72% discount on 1,000 USDs. That is 720 USDs you can save when you commit for a year or three. But you have to be sure that yes, my idea is gonna work, and I'm ready to commit for long term. All right. So you use saving plans and reserved instances of AWS to leverage this particular kind of pillar or model for pricing. So it's kind of another question to you: who buys yearly Netflix or Prime? Because it becomes cheaper. So if you buy it for a month, for example, you have to pay 300 rupees. But if you go for yearly package, you don't pay 12 times of 300, but you pay less, right? So that's the same thing with cloud. If you commit for a year or three, then you get a lot of discount, up to 70%, 72% of discount. So okay, AWS discounts works similarly in this case. Now, third pillar is pay less by using more. Let's say you store 100 GBs of videos, photos into your drive, and you pay 100 USDs for them. You might think, okay, if I add 100 GBs of more data, I'll again have to pay the same amount, or in the same proportion I'll have to pay. But that's not the case. As you keep on increasing your data or keep on using more, you pay less. So for the next 100 GBs, you won't be paying 100 USDs. It's just an example. Don't take it literally. But you would be paying less, maybe 50 USDs for the next 100 GBs. Again, if there's a next slot of 100 GBs, you would not be paying 50 USDs, but less than that. So it's like kind of, you start using more and pay less for it. So that's the pillar number 3 for pricing onto AWS, and it comes in picture when you have a use case where your data keeps on increasing. Okay, let's say you kind of have an application like Netflix or any other streaming application, OTT application, where you keep on adding new movies, right? So you don't have to worry as your data grows, but you'll be spending less in that case. So it's kind of, why do wholesale shops give cheaper prices for large quantities, right? It's the same thing. Cloud volume pricing works similarly. The kind of wholesale shop works. They give you cheaper prices when you use larger quantities. The next is flat rate. It's kind of particular price that you have to pay for a particular service for a particular period of time. There's no unpredictability, there's no kind of confusion, there's nothing like the cost may increase or may decrease. There's nothing like that. Flat rate gives you upfront cost that if you use this particular service for a month, you'll have to pay this much. If you use this particular service for a year, you'll have to pay this much. One of the services is AWS Route 53, where you create your domain. So domain is something that comes at the last when you deploy your application. You want to have your domain kind of www.google.com or rediff.com or netflix.com, whatever, that's a domain, right? So it comes at the last stage of your application deployment, where you now need a domain or an identity for your application. So a service like AWS Route 53, Amazon Route 53 provides you flat rate. You just have to pay maybe 10 USDs, 12 USDs for a year, and that's all. So that's what the flat rate is. Again, there are some software licenses or security firewalls or tools, developer tools created by third-party vendors. You pay them at flat rate. So it's kind of, if you buy an unlimited buffet, right? If you book a buffet for unlimited plates, do you pay per plate? No, right? You don't pay per plate. You pay for an unlimited buffet, and you just don't have to worry how many people came and had their lunch, dinner, whatever, or food. So flat rate works similarly in this case. Okay, before I proceed, are there any questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the first question is, how do companies balance cloud convenience with privacy concerns?
See, privacy in AWS cloud. Okay, I'm talking about AWS cloud. Your data is not shared with other. You have encryption in place. You have keys in place. You have multi-factor authentication in terms of AWS account. So privacy is not an issue. Your data is not available to anybody else. Even if, let's say, your data gets lost, and if it's encrypted, it would be useless for the people that has stolen it. So that's how the privacy can be maintained. It's in simple terms that I'm talking about. There are multiple other things. Encryption at rest, encryption at transit, right? Using certificates and a lot of things. But in simple words, privacy is maintained and you don't have to worry about your data. AWS provides a lot of ways where you can secure it, not just your data, but your account too.
Okay, sir. The
Yeah.
next question was, with uncertainty in industry inflation, will the cost become a bit uncertain as well?
See, it's how you use your resources. If you just create here and there and forget deleting your resources or not optimizing it correctly, that definitely costs be a concern. You'll have to work on to optimizing your resources, making sure that you use correct instance types. For example, if you don't have a lot of load, you can use smaller kind of instances or instance types. Instance types, basically, those who do not know, is kind of how much RAM or how much disk or how much memory or whatnot you use for your infrastructure. So you'll have to balance it. You don't just go and create infrastructure here and there. Otherwise, definitely you'll face challenges with cost. And to overcome it, you'll have to work on to optimizing your infrastructure.
Okay, sir. And the next question is kind of off topic, but since you have a great experience in this domain, we'll like to know your views on it. How do you think AI will transform the cloud centric roles like DevOps in the future?
Okay, AI is something that is booming. We keep on hearing AI here and there, right? Nobody, I would say, ends or starts a discussion without AI, technical discussion at least. AI, take it as your friend. You'll have to learn it. I'll give a simple example. Long back, how people used to write their code. They used to write using Vim editor or VI editor, if you know about it, right? It's an editor in Linux. Or they used to write in WordPad or Notepad. Then a generation came on, or an era came where IDEs came, integrated development environments like Visual Studio Code, right? Or any other tool that helps you write your application in a better way. We adopted it, right? Adoption. It is really very important. And now the AI has come. in those days, people did not think, oh, the jobs will go, the calculator came or the computer came. New opportunities came. Those who upgraded definitely got better opportunities. Those who did not upgrade, they still had jobs, but lesser opportunities were there. In the same way, in this AI era, you'll have to upgrade yourself. You don't have to be scared of it. There will be new opportunities coming up. If you adopt it, you can get those or grab those opportunities. If not, then you'll have to struggle a bit. So AI is not coming; it has already come, and take it as your friend. That is something that I would say. Don't be worried about or scared about AI. It is a complementary tool. Take it as a tool for your application development, deployments, or whatnot. With DevOps, QA, developers, AI is everywhere, and I would say helps or boosts your productivity. The thing that you could do earlier in a week can be done in a day nowadays, even lesser than that.
All right, sir. That answers the question.
Okay. Shall I proceed then?
Yes.
Now, before I proceed, let's just go back and revise 4 pillars. So there are 4 pillars, as I mentioned: pay as you go, save when you commit, pay less by using more, flat rate. For pay as you go, you pay only for what you use. You use the resources for an hour, you pay only for an hour. For save, when you commit, you lock in your resources for a period of 1 year or 3 years, and you get a discount up to 72%. Pay less by using more is as your data grows or as your usage grows, you pay less. And for flat rate, there's a fixed cost that you have to pay for a month or a year, and you don't have to predict your budget. So those are the 4 pillars of AWS pricing. Now moving ahead, since we are talking about pricing, uh, there there must be some cost management tools or some tools that will help you with your pricing, your cost, or understanding about your cost or billings and whatnot. AWS provides AWS free tier. You get an account. You can just create your account, and for 12 months, you get free access to core services for a particular quota. It's not like you can just create an account and create whatever you want or any number of resources. You get some quota for 12 months, and you can use that account as a free tier account. And maybe you can just try deploying your application, trying your startup idea, or any idea that you have to try, but you are worried about cost. Then you can leverage AWS free tier and try deploying your application there. Then there's AWS pricing calculator. It's kind of an online tool. It's available on internet, provided by AWS, where you can just put in your infrastructure. Like you need 2 AWS instances, EC2 instances. You need one S3 bucket with 100 GBs of data. You need one RDS instance for kind of 100 GBs of data, right? You can just put in your infrastructure details, and you'll get an idea or an estimate that how much you would be spending if you use this kind of infrastructure. And then there's this AWS budget. These are not just these are not the only tools, but I would say these are a few of them which help you cost management. So AWS budget is kind of a financial shield for you, where you set a limit on spendings. So let's say you create budget alerts for 1 USD for 1 day. If you cross that, then you'll get alerts. Okay, you'll get to know how much you have spent, if you have already exceeded your limit or not. You'll get emails. So you can keep a track of your cost using these at least 3 things. That is free tier account for deploying your application, not worrying about cost. because it provides access or free access to core services with limited usage, pricing calculator, AWS pricing calculator for creating an estimate, and then budgets for getting alerted whenever you hit your or exceed your limit. Now, tell me, how many of you have accidentally spent money online? A few of you might have already. Is there any message? Okay,
No, sir.
okay, a few of you might have used AWS and accidentally spent hundreds or quite a couple of USDs, right? So in that case, you can use AWS budgets and be alerted and make sure you don't accidentally spend money onto your AWS account, because that is one of the things that stop people from using AWS or free tiers, because they are scared or they think they will accidentally spend hundreds of USDs or a couple of USDs. But you don't have to worry about it. You can use AWS budgets and get alerted whenever you exceed a particular cost or quota, I would say. Now, this is really very important since we are talking about pay as you grow, how entrepreneurs, right, kind of the pricing model that we are talking about, right? We are discussing everything about pricing, cost, and whatnot. So there's this AWS Activate. Okay, it is a program designed by AWS for startup founders to build their startups. What AWS does is it provides free credits for you, kind of 1,000 USDs in terms of credits onto AWS account. And if you have an idea, you can build it, you can deploy it onto AWS and not to worry about spending for just an idea which you're not sure of it will grow or not. AWS takes care of billing up to 1,000 USDs. There are other programs as well where you get more credits, but this one provides you 1,000 USDs as credits. AWS provides you supports with troubleshooting or technical issues. And yeah, if you have an idea, you can just maybe try for this program. There's an eligibility criteria. There are some set of rules or requirements. You can go through it, or maybe we can talk about it later. But you can leverage this program, and if you have an idea, you don't have to worry about cost. Just go for it, deploy it, see if it grows, hope it grows. And the 4 pillars that we saw, you can leverage them and make sure that you spend less. Even if you have credits provided by AWS Activate, you kind of utilize them in a better or optimized way and reduce your early infrastructure cost while validating your idea. So definitely go for it and try your idea. Don't be worried about cost, or don't just skip the idea or the implementation because you don't have or you don't have to spend on AWS. You don't have to worry about it. Now we are at the end of the session. We're just a few minutes away with concluding the session. If there are any questions, I would be happy to take them. Or maybe
Yes, sir. There was a question. What should startups prioritize, whether it is high availability or lower cost?
see, startups, you just got an idea. Okay, you have to deploy an MVP, a software solution. At least start with MVPs. Okay, it's most viable product. It's kind of gives basic functionality. It tests your idea, and you should be focusing on making it available. High availability and other things come at later part of time when the user base grows, when uh, when your users are from different regions, and the application is kind of a critical application, right? You don't have to worry about all those things, high availability and whatnot. Those are kind of later stage that comes into picture. So don't worry about high availability. Try at least deploying your application onto a cloud like AWS, and later, as you grow, as the demand grows, as your startup grows, you can work on to high availability, you can work on to cost optimization. Security definitely is one of the first things that should start at the initial level. Security must not be compromised, because if it gets compromised, the chances your account gets compromised, and right, you may spend unnecessarily, it may get hacked and whatnot. Security must not be compromised. High availability, cost optimization, you work gradually, you work continuously onto it. It's not one day activity. It happens on daily basis, and it keeps on happening on daily basis. I hope I could answer your question.
Yes, sir. Also, the next question was you explained those four pillars. Which one do you think is most important for startup when we are using a pay as you grow model?
Okay, so for startups, I would say you can go with the first pillar, where you are not sure about your infrastructure, you're not sure about your hardware, you're not sure about how long you're going to use it. So in early stage, go with the first pillar, where you pay only for what you use, which is pay as you go model. You don't have to commit, you're not sure if it's going to work or not. Committing for a 1 year or like 3 years doesn't really make sense. Okay, then the third model, pay less by using more. As you grow, it will definitely help you with your costs, but for early stage or initial stages, you should go with the first pillar, that is pay as you go, and only pay for what you're using without worrying about reserving it for a year or 3 year or committing for long term. So first pillar is something that you should go in your early stage of your startups or your ideas.
Okay, sir. The next question was: is it difficult for beginners to understand the cloud pricing?
No, it is not really very difficult. It's really very easy. So for understanding cloud pricing, you first have to understand AWS resources or cloud resources or services. For example, what is EC2? It's Elastic Compute Cloud. You get a virtual machine. Why do you create a virtual machine? For deploying your application. How long you gonna run it? You keep it running as long as your application has to be there, right? So it's kind of service which is kept running to make sure your application is available. Now here the pricing is different, but let's talk about Lambda. Lambda is serverless. It only runs your application code when the request goes to it. Okay, so in that case, you would just be paying for that particular time. So that's how you have to understand the pricing, and understand the pricing, you have to understand the services, is what I would say. So it's not really very difficult. Get the basics clear, and then there are tools, as I mentioned, uh, calculator, right? Cost calculator, which helps you understand the estimate, or which gives you an estimate for the infrastructure. But yes, you first understand the services, their usage, why we are using any service, if it is really required for this particular use case, and then pricing can be understood easily.
Okay, sir. The next question in chat was how AWS helps startup to build potentially.
Uh, Potential kind of, see, AWS provides AWS Activate program, right? It gives you credits. It tests your potential. It tests your idea. You can deploy your idea. You can deploy your application without being worried about spending on AWS. If it works, you can easily, let's say, if you have thousand USD credits in your AWS account, and you use the pricing model in a better way, you can definitely use these many credits at early stage for a year or so. You can see if your idea is growing. 1 year or 2 year is more than sufficient to understand the potential of your startup or potential of your idea. And in those days or in that particular stage, you can leverage such a program where AWS helps you test your potential. And if it works, then there are different programs by AWS which also help you with other benefits, right? They even provide more credits if your idea is really very good. So that's how AWS helps you with your idea and its potential.
All right, sir. Um, that was the question. We currently had this many questions.
Okay, cool. So moving ahead, for concluding this particular session, what I would say is you build a startup this semester. Okay, so there are two things for this startup for this semester. The challenge phase, where you pick a problem, you build an MVP, that is minimum viable product, using AWS free tiers account. Then, of course, you host it on AWS. Use core services like EC2, Lambda, RDS, S3, right? Try to spend as less as possible, and give a demo to your college, give a demo at any event, right? And then what? Why do you do it? Everything doesn't end successfully, but the journey or the path that you choose or the efforts that you put while achieving something definitely gives you some rewards, right? So even if you think of an idea, you think of starting a startup, you put in your efforts in this semester, and you think, oh, that is not working, my idea is not good, it did not work, it did not grow, you don't have to worry about it. Definitely will get a reward of it. So that's a reward phase. The reward would be you would be having something developed, uh, presented in front of communities, events, colleges. Now you have an identity, uh, you have a visibility, so you can showcase this in your resume. This builds your portfolio, that even before passing out your engineering or this particular year or wherever you are in your career or in your education, this will help you build your portfolio. You will be having something concrete to showcase that you have put your efforts, you developed, you deployed, you gave demos and whatnot. That is one of the rewards. Again, when you pass out from your engineering, you apply for internships or you apply for jobs, you can showcase your idea in your internships or uh, for getting internships, whatever it is, right? So that is one of the, again, one of the rewards. And you get a mindset, entrepreneur mindset, that how things work from scratch, what all things are needed. If you're doing it on your own, you get to see the overall picture. You're not just working on one particular thing, you're working on whole thing, the whole setup, right from creating the account, right from understanding the billing, right from creating the infrastructure, development, deployment, showcasing it to the public, right? Presenting it in front of the audience. So you get kind of that mindset, and you're not stuck in a mindset where you say, okay, I'll just be responsible for this. So these are a few of the rewards I would say you could get if you start building a startup in this semester, whatever the semester it is, and use AWS free tier later, maybe if applicable. You can go for AWS Activate and other programs. So this is something that I would give as a challenge to you, and definitely would expect you coming back to me with your doubts, with your questions and whatnot. You can anytime connect with me onto LinkedIn. And if you really are interested into building something, if you really think that you have tried deploying it onto AWS, Just go for it. Drop me a message if you need any help with reviewing your architecture, reviewing your idea. I would not say really idea. It's your idea. You work onto it. But yes, if you want my help with reviewing the architecture or anything else, you can just drop me a message and connect me onto LinkedIn, and I would be more than happy to help you. And yes, now I open the floor for questions. I hope we did not spend a lot of, or maybe I did not cross the time limit. So if we are in the time limit, I'll be happy to answer your questions. And that was from my end. Thank you so much for hearing me patiently. Yes, over to you, Neha. Neha, you're on mute in case you.
Yes. The next question was, how can startup learn to scale confidently without overspending?
Yes. So AWS provides services like EC2 auto scaling in terms of EC2 machines. Then there are Kubernetes, ECS, Lambda. Let's talk about EC2. You create one machine which is not highly available. You create auto scaling group where you specify the minimum number of instances, maximum number of instances, and you specify a criteria that if my load increases, my machines must come up and serve the requests. On the other hand, if the load decreases, the machines should be shut down, and you shouldn't be spending unnecessarily for the new resources or the machines. Those were created when the load had increased. That is one of the use cases. The other is if you understand services and use a particular service that suits your requirement. For example, AWS Lambda, that is serverless. You use it when your application does not need to be running all the time. It must only be running when a request hits it. For example, the earlier example that I gave, where you have to convert an image from one format to another, your application does not really have to be up and running all the time. It just comes up when a request comes in, it converts an image and then goes off. So if you understand which service has to be used when, and you basically get a difference of it, then definitely you can scale your application and at the same time save your costs.
Okay, sir. The next question was, what skill can startups develop while managing cloud-based infrastructure?
I lost you in between. Pardon. Please come again.
So the question was, what skills can startup develop while managing cloud-based infrastructure?
For building a startup onto cloud, you have to understand the terms that are there onto cloud, right? Security is really very important. For example, you have users, you must be creating them using IAM. You should not be giving accesses here and there. Provide least accesses, least privileges. Okay, encryption is really very important. You shouldn't be keeping your data unencrypted. It should always be encrypted. Then comes CI/CD and everything. When you go right to save some time or have a philosophy or a culture in your startup, then CI/CD comes in, DevOps comes in. These things come gradually, right? The skill sets need gradual improvement. You don't need them all on day one. Okay, but security is really very important. Uh, then yeah, you need testing. Testing your application is really very important. Trying different use cases or edge cases to make sure your application doesn't fail or uh, serve the edge cases. These are a few skills that I would say are really very important. And yes, as we are talking about pricing and cost optimization is really very important.
So then one of our captains wanted any tips for AWS Cloud Practitioner exam.
Okay, cloud practitioner exam. I would say don't just, so if you're new to cloud, you don't have an account on AWS, I would say don't go for the exam by just watching the videos, taking the tests. It is really very, I would say, not worth it. For giving or taking any exam, first you should have hands-on experience. Spend some time creating resources, deleting resources, creating infrastructure, creating architecture and whatnot. Do it yourself first. You should have done something on your own. You should have made your hands dirty before appearing or taking an exam. So the only tip that I would say is first try things on your own. Then there are good courses that are available. Those are definitely required for following a path, because taking an exam needs a structured learning. That is something that can be achieved from taking a course and then taking tests, like kind of practice tests. That is something, the last thing that you should go for. But first thing first, create an account, try it on your own, take a course, take practice tests, and go for the exam. Don't just focus on.
Okay, sir. The next question was, should we continue working on a startup that requires huge funding?
See, why would you need huge funding at the earlier stage, right? It's a small idea, it's a startup. You build it, you build the MVP. You're trying on your own. Funding or costs come at later point of time when you grow, and when you grow, definitely you can spend your money. As you see that the users are increasing, the user base is increasing, the subscriptions are being taken. That what shows you're growing, right? So day one, it's just you're deploying or building. Gradually you grow. If you really grow, then spending is not an issue. And then optimization definitely would help you reduce the cost, at the same time grow in your startup.
Okay, sir. The next question was, what advice would you give students who want to start learning cloud technologies with minimal budget?
Go for free tier account. That's the first thing that you should be doing. Second thing, creating budgets. Otherwise, the next day you wake up and see your cloud costs, you would close your account the same day. So first thing first, create an account. Second thing second, create budget, get alerts, and then try things on your own, because you get 12 months of free access to AWS account with limited quota or limited services, I would say, or specific services. Go for it. It will definitely help you. I'm still using the same account that I had created long back, maybe 10 years back, or 9 years back. I'm using the same account. Still, I'm using the same account and trying things on my own, because I don't give an excuse in my organization that I don't have an account, try something on my own. Because sometimes you don't get access to accounts in organizations, right? Due to different policies. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be exploring something on your own. If I'm doing the same thing even after 10 years in my career, you can do the same thing. You can create your account and start learning. Nobody stops you from that.
Okay, sir. The next question was, for someone building their very first project or MVP, what are the top two AWS services we should start with to keep things, simple and completely free?
Go for EC2. You get T2 micro or something which you can keep running for 72 days. I don't remember. So that this particular amount that you get that instance for free of cost. So EC2 machine you can create, you can deploy your application onto it, which will be live all the time. Yes, high availability would not be there. If the EC2 instance goes down, your application will go down. But you can create the smallest type of instance, keep it running all the time. You'll still not be charged. That is one service, EC2, for deploying the application. And for managing the database, you can create the smallest type of RDS instance for your database. You can even use a DynamoDB for storing your user information, that is NoSQL database. And S3 you can use for storing your objects or files like videos, MP3s, and whatnot. So you can use any of these services. You asked about two, you can go for any two services based on your idea. If your idea is more focused towards storing images and whatnot, then you can go for EC2 plus S3. If you're not storing images, objects, and anything else, then you can go for EC2 plus RDS or DynamoDB.
Okay, sir. The next question was, how does the pay as you grow model work during unstable market condition?
So, in unpredictable market conditions, you're not sure if your application will be used. You're not sure when the requests will increase. You're not sure when you may go viral. You're not sure about the workload, right? So, you just deploy your application, create auto scaling groups, uh, deploy some application into serverless kind of Lambda, architect your application in a way that even if today nobody is using it, we shouldn't be charged a lot. But even if someday unexpectedly the requests increase, the user base increases, your application should still be able to handle it. Auto scaling, serverless architecture, these things work together to make sure that you're spending less when it is not being used and still serve when the requests increase. So if you have such a situation, unpredictable situation, this will definitely help you.
Okay, sir. Currently, we do not have any other question. That was all the questions we had.
That's great then. So yeah, feel free to connect, feel free to ask, feel free to share. I would definitely be happy to see people coming up with ideas, building them and deploying them. And yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you so much for listening me patiently. Thank you so much and have a good day.
So that brings us to the end of today's session. Before we wrap up, we want to take a moment to say a huge thank you to our incredible speaker, Rahul sir, for taking time out of his Sunday to be here with us, share his knowledge, and make cloud computing feel genuinely exciting and accessible. We truly appreciate it, sir. A big thank you to each and every one of you for showing up. But now it is time for something very exciting. We shall now get ready to kick off the quiz. Before we begin, please scan one of the code that I will be sharing on my screen. Take out your phones, open your camera, and scan. We'll give you a minute or two. Join in. Do not rush, and please do not wait for longer. Once everyone is has scanned, we get enough number on all of our like scanners. We shall start with the quiz. Give me a second. I will share my screen. Guys, please scan. Guys, please scan one of the QR code from any of the five QRs that we have sent. Once we get enough number of the participants, we shall continue with the quiz. Please make sure to answer the questions on time, as only 15 seconds will be provided to answer one question. The quicker you answer, the more points you'll be getting for each questions. So try to answer quickly and answer correctly to build up your rank. Also, for each question, only the questions will be displayed on the YouTube stream, and it will be displayed to you on YouTube, and the question options will be given to you on Mentimeter. So you'll only be seeing the question options um, on your screen, whereas the questions will be on our screen. So please make sure to read the questions correctly before answering them. I hope everyone is ready. Are we all ready for the quiz? All right, then. I shall be presenting the questions now. All right. So, moving on to question one. Moving on to second question. A startup launches an app. In the first month, very few users sign up. In the sixth month, it goes viral. Which cloud feature helps them manage this without overspending? Third question. Before cloud computing, why was starting a tech business expensive for entrepreneurs? Moving on to next question. Suppose during an IPL final, one entire center suddenly stops working because of a power failure. But users still continue watching the match without interruption. What is most likely the reason? Moving on to fifth question. Two students launch identical apps. Student A buys expensive server before getting users. Student B uses cloud services and upgrade only when users increase. After 6 months, student B survives while student A struggles financially. What startup principle does cloud computing mainly support here? Moving on to sixth question. A student says, I use Spotify, Google Photos, ChatGPT, and Netflix daily, but I never see where the actual computers are. What is the best explanation? Moving on to seventh question. A company launches a new app using AWS, but shuts it down after 2 months due to low demand. What is the cloud model beneficial here? Moving on to next question. A founder says, we spent less initially, but our cloud bill increased as user grew. What does this indicate? Moving on to ninth question. A startup hosts its app on AWS. During weekdays, traffic is high, but at night, usage drops drastically. What is the smartest cloud strategy to reduce cost? Moving on to next question. Why would a company use multiple AWS regions instead of just one? Moving on to next question. What does scalability mean in cloud computing? Moving on to 12th question. Which AWS service can trigger code without managing servers? Moving on to next question. Which AWS service can detect security threats automatically? Moving on to second last question. Which service is used for monitoring AWS resources? And the last question for today. Which of the following is a benefit of auto scaling? Are we all excited for the results? Give us few minutes. Since there were five different spaces where people were participating and competing, all those scores will be merged together, and two winners will be decided shortly. Once we get the winners, we shall be announcing it over here as well as on the YouTube chats. Let us see who can win. While the results are still being decided, while we are still discussing on the results, meanwhile, it is my great pleasure to let you guys know that we, the students of AWS Student Builder Group at NMIET, have officially made our own website using AWS services only. And today we are going to launch it as well. We have used only AWS services. The login uses Cognito, storage uses DynamoDB, photos upload and scaling uses S3, email and OTP uses SES, and hosting uses Amplify. We shall now be presenting or showcasing our website. Is my screen visible to all? So this is how the screen looks for us. You sign in. If you are new, you sign in from. If you are new, you create your account. Else you sign in. Once you have added everything you created, we have tried to give it a look of operating system. It sends the QR. It sends the OTP to your account in real time. It looks exactly like operating system. We are fetching the data in real time from Meetup, as well as for the events and projects and team, everything. This is the introduction for us. This is the about us section. We have tried to to keep everything look like exactly like an operating system. This is inspired by Mac OS. You can also maximize as well as minimize these folders. This is our amazing team. Once you log in this website, you can connect to any of our members via their GitHub, LinkedIn, or via their emails as well. We'll be free to reach out and help you all, guys. For the event as well, we fetch the it directly from Meetup. So please make sure to stay on our Meetup, join our Meetup groups, and stay updated for upcoming events as well as meetups. For the projects, we keep experimenting different things here and there, and we keep on adding it over here. If you are interested in cloud computing as well as anything related to DevOps, cloud architecture, AWS, or anything similar, please feel free to reach out to us to let us know. We also will be providing resources for the community. These are you can click on these, and then it can even redirect you directly to external links. Also, please feel free to contact us. We have attached the email ID as well as our socials. You can contact us anytime. We can maybe collaborate and discuss about a lot of things. And one of the most creative and interesting part about our website is this terminal. It helps you experiment with lot of things here and there. We have also added a lot of Easter eggs. For example, if you type, there are a lot of things that you can experiment here on our website. Uh, Try finding the Easter eggs. Let us know if you actually do. And we are always open to feedbacks. Let us know if you are about to suggest anything, advices, or anything that you think can be changed or can be done better. Um, we have attached our email IDs as well as our contacts for that. Um, Please feel free to give us any type of feedback, advices. That's all. All right, guys. Now, the moment we have all been waiting for, the result of the quizzes. Are we all excited? Can we spam celebration emoji in the chat if we are guys are excited? All right, so we gave you guys 5 QRs. You guys participated in that, and we combined the results of every QRs. The ones who had the highest score from every section got combined, and then we came up with the results. So, third place goes to Sanya Tamboli with 12,610 points. Second place goes to Sonia Pangate with 13,621 points. And first prize goes to, any guesses? All right, so first prize goes to Ganesh Beldar with 14,596 points. You guys know about our website. Please feel free to send us a QR, send us your name so we can circulate you the certificates. We shall also be providing the certificates to all of you. Before we leave, before we give an end to this session, I shall be presenting my screen again. Please take a moment and scan this QR code and please fill the form. This is the feedback form. This will help us know what we can change next time and what we can add or what we can subtract. Meanwhile, you fill the form. You remember at the start of the event, we gave you guys a hint that we shall be providing you with the secret codes. I hope you guys have collected those secret codes. We shall be providing a QR code on our WhatsApp community. So please make sure to join the WhatsApp community for the results. The one who sends all the codes on the Google form first shall be getting goodies and swags from our side. Once you fill this form, please take a moment to join our meetup if you have not yet joined. Also, lastly, this is the WhatsApp community. Please make sure to join this for the results of goodies, to get your certificates for future events, and also for the LinkedIn quest. So, if you guys remember, at the start of the event, we gave you a challenge that is to tag us on a LinkedIn post. And if the person who gets highest interaction on their post gets swags and goodies from our side. So please make sure to share this community and to join this community, so that we can provide the results tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. sharp. Before we leave, a huge thank you to each and every one of you who took out your time from your Sunday and joined us for this event. We shall be looking forward to hosting you guys again in next event or next meetups that we are planning. We are continuously planning more such events as well as more such meetups for the community from our side. Please make sure to fill the feedback form before you leave. And that was all from our side. Thank you very much for joining today's session. Captains, would you like to say something? Yes, Monish, please go ahead.
So all the students present here, I only request you to just go to kiro.dev website, which is AWS own IDE. Just go to Kiro and start building whatever ideas you have. Like, even though if you know like Notion and Pomodoro apps, start building your own apps using Kiro and start using them.
Thank you very much, Monish. Any other leader? Prasad, Aditya, Gokul, Vishesh? All right, guys, that was all from our side. We shall be looking forward to hosting you in next events as well. We will like to see all of you in upcoming events. So please stay tuned. Make sure to join our channels for the results, as well as we shall be providing you with the certificates shortly. And stay tuned for next events. We shall end now.